Read.
For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai.
Wait a minute. Hold on. So you're going to tell me she obeyed? She did not obey Mordecai? Here it says she did obey everything he said. So when a Christian come and tell you that Esther made her own choices, that's BS. She was listening to a man.
Right.
Let me say it in Spanish. Un hombre, el líder.
Yes, he is.
Read.
Like as when she was brought up with him. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlains, Bigtan and Teresh, of those which kept the door, were wroth and sought to lay hand on the king Ahasuerus.
So you gotta understand, man. They see the king. They said, "Bro, let's kill him." You know, many kings get killed. So these two were planning. Say, let's get rid of this king. Let's lay hand on him. So they're making plans how they're gonna get in and how they're gonna kill the king. Read what happened.
And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther, the queen.
So Mordecai is like, yo, I heard these two guys, and they're planning to kill the king. Read.
And Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name.
So where Esther came to the king and said, hey, king, they want to kill you. Read.
And when inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Therefore, they were both hanged on a tree.
So the king said, really? Who want to kill me? These two guys? Okay, go grab them. Kill them. Read.
And it was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king.
So you have to read the Chronicles, right? So it's funny, you think about this, Esther came out. Mordecai decided to say, you know what, Esther? I could have easily said, you know what? He's not an Israelite king. Hey, let him get killed. No, Esther said, you know what? Mordecai said, hey, Esther, this guy's planning killing the king, man. Esther said, really? Okay, go tell the king. Esther come up to the king, tell him, hey, king, these two guys want to kill you. And because that was his favorite, the king listened to him. You know what Zerubbabel said? What does Zerubbabel says? A man goes wit for a woman. This king was so attracted to Esther that he was willing to do whatever. He even listened to her. And all the people, Esther just came and said, hey, this is going to happen. Any other king like, what you know about, man? It's cool. Get away. No, she said, no. He paid attention to her, telling him that there were men out to kill him. And he ended up getting murdered. Go ahead, read.
Esther chapter 3, verse 1.
Read. Diamond loose.
After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and avenge him, and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman. For the king had so commanded concerning him, but Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence.
So you understand at this moment, we got, Mordecai, right? He refused to bow. So we're going to read right now in verse 2 that he refused to bow to another nation. And that's what y'all should do, man. And stop kissing the backside of your boss and other people, but you're willing to throw your own people under the bus. You come to white man, you tell them everything, and then when your own nation come in and they're looking for help, you tell them go look for a job. You like those priests right now this day that said, hey, I'm broke. He goes like, God bless you. When they're driving a Mercedes, they're driving a top-notch car. Yep. You gotta understand that.
That's what they call coons, officer.
That's right, coons. Yeah. One day I'm gonna find out what the word coons means in Spanish. You know, I hear the word a lot in English, and I use it in English, but I never, ever, ever in my life sat down and actually study how to use the word in Spanish. But one day you'll see a class, and I'll use it. Read.
Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, Why transgressest thou the king's commandment? Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand. For he had told them that he was a Jew.
There was what?
A Jew.
So now Haman finds out that Mordecai is a Jew. He's a black male. Es hombre negro. Ahora, now Haman, que es blanco, is a Edomite, que viene y dice, bro, este negro es judío. This guy is a Jew. I don't like him. He don't bow to me. He don't bow to the white man. Él no se arrolla a lo blanco. Bro, yo tengo problemas con él. I got problems with him. Read.
Verse 5. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath.
Oh, that white boy got mad as hell. You ever had an issue with a white boy when he tells you to do something and you tell him no? Mm-hmm. They don't like you telling them no, bro. Mm-mm. They hate you to tell them no. Yep. Well, I had many issues. Like when I used to work in the merchant marines, when I used to work on ships, bro, and I had bosses, and they would tell me, yo, I need you to do this. I'm like, no. Why? Because it's not the right thing to do. Well, I don't care if it's right. I want you to do it. No, I'm not going to do it. Oh, man, he used to rap, bro. They wanted even to write you up. That's the same thing. Haman got mad, bro. You think about it. Everybody was so used to telling him, yeah, besándole la espalda. I want to say the other word, but I can't say it on TV. You know, kissing the backside. But this brother said, hell no, I'm not going to bow. I'm not going to kiss your back. I'm not going to kiss your feet. And Haman lost it. He went into wrath. Read.
Verse 6. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone.
And he said, man, he was so mad he wanted to beat the hell out of Mordecai. Read.
For they had showed him for the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai.
So at this moment, you know, Haman, because now we're introducing Haman. That's the guy who plotted who started plotting. That's when he started plotting that genocide of the Jews, right? He said, you know what? I want to lay hands on him. I want to, matter of fact, hell with just him. Let's get all his people. So this white boy wasn't just happy of getting rid of him. He wanted to get rid of everybody that was of his race. You know, so it was a racial fight. You know, and he couldn't do it. So what he done? Read verse 30. Read verse 7, 3 and 7.
In the first month, that is the month of Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast pur.
They cast pur. What does pur mean? I know a lot of you was curious what pur means, right? I have here. I'm gonna tell you that. He said, read that, soldier.
Definition from Oxford language, pur. Equivalent to pro.
Pro, so it's pure is here it is. Okay. It means pure, P-U-R. It means to dismantle. That I find it, you know, that's what it means. The word pure, P-U-R, it means to dismantle. To break, to destroy. So when you put the word pure rum, you know, pure means to dismantle, and rum means to roll the dice. You know, so that's what Purim stands for. Read. We're gonna jump to. Estamos en el 7, ¿verdad?
Yeah. You want to finish, Shelly?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
They cast pur, that is, the lot before Haman from the day to day.
They like what?
the lot before Haman from day to day.
They cast lot. So they threw the Purim, they cast lot. On from that day when he felt disrespected, he said, yo, it's a matter of time, bro. It's a matter of time. We're gonna get rid of all those Jews. Jump to 9.
Verse 9. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed. And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business.
So now Hannah made a plan. He said, this is how I'm going to destroy them. This is how I'm going to dismantle the Jews. This is how I'm going to destroy them. He said, I'm going to get this for the king, and I'm going to make sure it's be done. Did Haman went the right way? No. But this white boy hated us so bad. Read.
To bring it into the king's treasuries. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hamid, Mahapata, the Agitite, the Jews' enemy. And the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee, the people also, to do with them as it seemeth good to thee.
So Haman tricked the king to giving up the ring. But Haman had other plans with the ring. What did Haman do with the ring? He started writing these letters. Because of time, I'm going to bring you up to date. He started writing this letter, and he started using the king's seal of approval, because the ring was the seal to get his thing across. Go ahead, jump to chapter 4, verse 1. We're going to jump.
Esther chapter 4 and verse 1. When Mordecai perceived all that was done, Mordecai rent his clothes and put on a sackcloth with ashes and went out into the midst of the city and cried with a loud and a bitter cry, and came even before the king's gate, for none might enter into the king's gate clothed with sackcloth.
Oh, jump! So it was prohibited for somebody just to walk up to the king. You had to be invited. It's like the leadership table. You cannot just walk to the leadership table. You have to be invited with one of the people sitting down on the leadership to tell you to come up. You cannot just walk, and just talk, So it was the same thing with the king. You're gonna just walk up to him and expect to be for them to talk to you. It's like things going around the school. Don't expect the leadership to be telling you everything's going on. There's certain things that you're going to know, and certain things that you're not going to know. Jump to 7.
Verse 7. And Mordecai told him of all that had happened unto him, and of the sum of the money that Haman had promised to pay to the king's treasuries for the Jews to destroy them.
So now, so Mordecai came up to Esther and let Esther know, hey, bro, this is what Haman did. He offered this money, he took the ring, he stamped it, he sent it out. Jump to verse 12.
Verse 12. And they told to Mordecai Esther's words. Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther.
Yeah, here goes the word commanded again. I mean, he told Esther to do this. Read.
Think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than all the Jews.
The reason why he said that, because when he first mentioned Esther, she tried to be a little bit rebellious. She said, I don't know if I really want to do it. And Mordecai said, don't you think that once this goes through and you're a Jew, you don't think you're next? Think of what happened to Vashti. They cut her off. Now she understood. Chapter 5, verse 2.
The book of Esther, chapter 5, verse 2. And it was so, when the king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight. And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter. Then said the king unto her, what wilt thou, Queen Esther?
So now you're understanding. Now Esther is going to go forward, and she's walking recklessly, and she get noticed by the king because, a beautiful woman, a man going to look, bro. I don't care what it is, bro. You can be in that corner and you walk in and you see something that look beautiful. Your eyes wander. You're gonna look. So it's the same thing with the king. The king was down there walking around and he turned around and he sees Esther. So, oh shoot, hey babe, come here. Come here, sweetheart. Come here. So Esther walks up and then he said, what's going on? So Esther started telling the king a little bit about it. Read.
And what is thy request?
So the king said, well, what's up? What are you here for? What you want?
It shall be even given thee to the half of the kingdom.
Let me tell you, he said, whatever you ask for, if you want half of my kingdom, is yours. Damn, she was beautiful, bro. Esther was beautiful. He said, you want half of my kingdom? Go. I'll give you half my kingdom if you want. Read.
And Esther answered, if it seem good unto the king, let the king and Haman come this day unto the banquet that I have prepared for him.
So Esther said, if you think all that about me, man, I want to do a feast, man. I want you and I want Haman to come in and be with us, right? And the king said, what?
Then the king said, because Haman to make haste, that he may do as Esther have said. So the king and Haman came to the banquet that Esther had prepared. And the king said unto Esther at the banquet of wine, what is thou petition? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? Even to the half of the kingdom it shall be performed.
Read.
Then answered Esther and said, my petition and my request is, if I have found favor in the sight of the king, and if it please the king to grant my petition and to perform my request, let the king and Haman come to the banquet that I shall prepare for them. Mm-hmm. And I will do tomorrow as the king hath said. Then when Haman forth that day joyful and with a glad heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he stood not up, nor moved for him, he was full of indignation against Mordecai.
So at this moment, man, Mordecai doesn't know what's up, what's going to happen. So Mordecai is excited. That little white boy is excited as hell, bro. He's happy. He's like, yo, the king invited me. I'm gonna be there with the king, and I'm gonna be there with the queen, the two main guys of the thing, and they're giving a banquet, and I'm invited, bro. So he's excited. So then as he's walking outside, he sees at the gate, and Mordecai, he sees the black dude he hates. He said, damn, I hate that. I hate that brother. I hate that brother. He look at, I hate that brother. And what happened, what he did, he's excited, jump to 12.
Verse 12, Haman said, moreover, yea, Esther the queen did let no man come in with the king unto the banquet.
So Esther runs to his house and says, yo, you got to remember, wife, not everybody can go to the king's banquet, bro. He invited me, bro. He invited me. He's excited as hell. Because he's invited to a banquet where the king and the queen are going to be there, and he was picked to go there. So you know how much excitement is? Read.
That she had prepared by myself, and tomorrow I am invited unto her also with the king.
He said, this is a banquet they prepared to me. Guys, he's telling why they prepared to me. You don't know what kind of banquet. Yeah, he was prepared for him, he did. He was so excited. Jump to 6 and 1.
Esther chapter 6 and verse 1. On that night could not the king sleep, and he commanded to bring the book of the records of the chronicles, and they were read before the king. And it was found written that Mordecai had told of Bigthana and Teresh, two of the king's chamberlains, the keepers of the door, who sought to lay hand on the king Ahasuerus.
So you gotta understand this, bro. Haman, he comes in and he's like, yo, I saw these brothers, right? And you gotta understand this. When you look at it as a divine timing, you gotta understand all of this is worked out. God is working all of this up to that day. Because you see Esther becoming queen before the decree. Then you see Mordecai uncover the plot against the king. And then the kings cannot sleep. That's where we at, right? And now the king's like, damn, why does this queen want to tell me? What's going on? What's so important this banquet that you want to mention? And read.
Verse 3. And the king said, what honor and dignity have been done to Mordecai for this? Then said the king's servant that ministered unto him, there is nothing done for him. And the king said, who is in the court? Now Haman was done into the outward court of the king's house to speak unto the king to hang Mordecai on the gallows that he had prepared for him.
So at this moment, and Queen says, this is what happened. He let the king in on what's going on, and he said, I want him to die. That's what it was the Queen Esther said, right? And then give me what happened to him. You go to Esther 7 and 10.
The book of Esther, chapter 7, verse 10.
We're gonna move a little faster now, soldier.
So they hang Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified.
So after Queen Esther told the king what was the plan on Haman, king said, hang him, kill him. And they hanged him, right? Move to, so let's go to the victory. Esther 9:1.
Esther chapter 9, verse 1. Now in the 12th month, that is, the month Adar, on the 13th day of the same, when the king's commandment and his decree drew near to be put in execution, in the day that the enemies of the Jews hoped to have power over them, though it was turned into the contrary, that the Jews had rule over them that hated them. The Jews gathered themselves together in their cities throughout all the provinces of the King Assyrian.
So all these Jews were happy, bro, that the victor had come to them, that God had been mercy. God reversed the curse into victory. And they were excited about this. They had happy that they were not going to be the one. Because remember, when those letters arrived in all those different provinces, the Jews were worried about it because they said, our death is coming soon. And they're going to kill us by 1,000. We're not safe. And now they receive something and it's the reverse. Now the Jews get to kill the people who wanted to kill them. And what happened? The verse was cursed, so God reversed the curse into victory. The curse of them dying, he said, they're going to survive. Let's go to 9, how Purim was established. Esther chapter 9, verse 20. 20 to 22.
The book of Esther chapter 9 and verse 20. And Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in.
Hold on. Before I jumped the gun. My bad. Go to verse 10.
Verse 10. Then 10 sons of Haman, the sons of Hammedatha, the enemy of the Jews, slay they. But on the spoil laid they not their hand.
So the 10 sons of Haman, they died. They were killed. They killed. And the spoil, the stuff they left, nobody touched them. He was nasty. Jump 13.
13?
Yeah, verse 13.
Then said Esther, if it please the king, let it be granted to the Jews which are in Shushan to do tomorrow also according unto these days decree.
So that curse, like I said earlier, God reversed the curse. At that time, Esther said, the same thing they were planning doing to us tomorrow, I want to reverse it. Instead of them killing us, we want to kill them. Can you please just give us a permission? And of course, this king is a simp. He's in love with Esther. He said, hell yeah, baby. Take anything. You can do it. Go for it. That is.
And let Haman's 10 sons be hanged upon the gallows.
Let him, even his sons, die. The same thing that he was planning where he was going to hang up my uncle and our Jews, I wanted him to be honored with his kids. Bro, that's heavy. Jump to 17.
Verse 17. On the 13th day of the month Adar, and on the 14th day of the same rested day, and made it a day of feasting and gladness.
So how are we supposed to enjoy this Purim? Fifth, remember, we're supposed to celebrate this through generations. He said, come in here and celebrate Purim sad. Man, I gotta work tomorrow. I gotta work at 2:00, 2:45 in the morning, and I gotta be there from 7. So I hope I'm coming back early enough to get some sleep. No, bro, you're supposed to be like, you know what? Let's party. La Luna Nueva. No, that's the wrong song. You know, but it's time to celebrate, to have fun, to enjoy yourself. So that's what it says. Read.
Verse 18. But
Jump to 21.
Verse 21. To establish this among them, that they should
No,
keep.
sorry, my bad. So at this moment, now Mordecai took Haman's place. He became what Haman was. So now Haman is going to establish some laws. Verse 20.
Verse 20. And Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, both nigh and far, to establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar, and the 15th day of the same yearly, as the days wherein the Jews rested from their enemies.
So Purim became a law. It became a memorial of deliverance. It is a time of feasting and joy, a time to give gifts and helping the poor. You know, who you helping? So yesterday, you know, the little kids enjoy their gift, bro. They enjoy it. That was like the greatest joy I see, man. I saw them flashing. You know, my grandson, he got a big. He looked like a penguin. I don't know what the hell that was. Yeah, I don't know what the hell that was, but he looked like a big giant bird. And you know what he named him?
What he named?
He named him Pee-wee. What was it? Pete. Oh, Peak. Peak. He named him Peak. Bro, but that big thing, he was enjoying. I mean, my grandson's only 4 years old, and it's one of his first gift ever, you know, that somebody gives to him. So he enjoyed that. Man, he was holding that thing tight that he even put it on his bed right next to his pillow to sleep with him. And you know, I wake up to put a cover on him, and I see this big fat bird laid there. But he's all praise the Most High. He loved it. He enjoyed it.
Oh, praise him.
So this is what pyramids is about, loving that. It's about enjoyment, about glass feasting, bro. We had a nice little feast yesterday. And, you know, it's all about memorial. It's a memorial of deliverance. You got to always remember, memorial of deliverance, right? So now we're going to go to Isaiah 54, verse 17. We're going to speak. God, it was so special that God preserved his covenant to his people. Right? Read. This is all spiritual lessons from Purim.
The book of Isaiah chapter 54, verse 17.
That's all I want. 17. Read.
No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord.
So what happened here with Esther is God keeping his covenant with his people.
That's right.
Nothing is going to return. Let's go to Joshua 1:9. We're going to talk about the courage in the face of death. Courage in the face of death. Read.
Joshua chapter 1, verse 9.
Read.
Have not I condemned thee? Be strong and a good courage. Be not afraid.
Be not what?
Be not afraid.
You got to have courage.
Neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee whithersoever thou goest.
So Esther teaches, you know, in the story Esther, in the story behind Esther, it teaches her how courageous she was. Because you understand, even though she was a queen, she could have the same thing that happened to Vashti. But she was worried. You don't think she was worried about it? Yeah, she was worried about it. But she had the courage to do it. And that's what made it happen. Let's go to Proverbs 16 and 18. This is sometimes, I'm going to tell you something, brothers and sisters. Sometimes it's very dangerous when you're prideful, because behind that pride always comes hatred. Those are two things. Pride and hatred always go together, bro. You cannot be prideful and say, "Oh, I'm prideful," because when you're prideful, you're hating somebody else. Read.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 18. Pride goeth before destruction,
Mm-hmm.
and a harder spirit before a fall.
So Haman's pride led him to fall. He was a prophet. He thought nobody could touch him. He thought, hey, I can't be touched by nobody. And enough that he went down, right? God's work, you got to understand it. God's name is absence in Esther, right? By his hands, it's always evident that he's there. His timing, his favor, his reversal, his justice, it's always there. God is always with us. So when you say God is with us, he's always with us when we need him. Let's go to Romans 8:28.
The book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose.
Why? You guys know we all call for a purpose. We're all here for a reason. We all here in this truth for a reason. And yeah, Esther is a big story about Purim. But by the end of the day, you got to understand, Purim is a powerful reminder that God defends his people, that God is with us always. The evil plot, no matter what plot they got, any evil, wicked plot they got against us, is going to be overturned. That's why you have to have faith and courage to change. And he was changed. That just that little courage and faith that Esther had, he changed history. And what happened by her doing that, what was meant to be for us to be destroyed, it became a deliverance. Go to Psalms 124 and verse 1.
The book of Psalms, chapter 1.
I'm going to end with that scripture.
The book of Psalms, chapter 124, verse 1. If it had not been the Lord, who was on our side?
If it has a who?
Who was on our side?
Read.
Now may Israel say, if it had not been the Lord who was on our side when men rose up against us.
So the Most High God, in everything you do, you have to be with the Most High God, because if you're obeying the laws, statute, and commandment, he's going to be by your side. That's why he said, have courage. Courage, 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 courage. And don't be prideful, bro, because if you're prideful, the pride is going to turn to hate, and then it's going to be the downfall of you. You got to love your brothers and sisters, bro. You got to try everything to always be there, And that's the difference between us, IUIC, and the other churches. You get to know everybody next to you. You know your brother, you know his family, you know the history, you know your sister, man, I've been in Catholic churches for years, bro, and I still, right now, if you ask me if I knew about that lady with a top hat, white, that used to sit next to me, what was her name? Man, I wouldn't be able to tell you, but I didn't care, bro. I didn't care. I knew that the only day I was going to see her was Sunday, and then after that, I wouldn't see her until the following Sunday. I didn't even matter. So, by here, you get to know your brothers. You're going to communicate. You're going to know who they are. And Purim is a special day, one of the special feast days that you get to enjoy and share with them, because it has to go through generation. And with that, Officer Ilya with IUIC Puerto Rico in the classroom, and my reader was?
Soldier Abel.
With that, brother, shalom, Most High Christ bless.
And if you haven't subscribed to IUIC Puerto Rico, what are you waiting for? Subscribe. Shalom.
Across the earth, the prophets move. From city streets to distant lands, the message is the same. Israel must rise. Through every quest, every journey, the truth spreads. No border can contain it. No distance can silence it. Our nation lives in every moment. In joy, we celebrate marriages. In sorrow, we honor our dead. On the Sabbath, we gather as one. Families rejoicing together, bound by the commandments of God. Yet are we tried? From the stones in Kenya to the hatred in Montana, we endure as a soldier of the Lord. And still, the mission expands. On the airwaves, on the screens, in every nation under heaven, Israel's voice is heard. We build our communities. We raise our children in royalty. We restore what was broken. We clean what was defiled. We show the world who we are. This is Israel united in Christ. Nation in motion. Nation endures.